Loading and cleaning your brush affects the behavior of how strokes are applied to the canvas. You have a choice of whether you want to do this manually or have Photoshop take care of it for you automatically. In this movie, we'll take a look at both methods. Up till now, I've been using these controls both turned on, and we're now going to talk about what these do. The load control loads the brush for you automatically after each stroke. And when it's enabled, it's dark. When it's disabled, it's light. The second control is the clean control. This cleans your brush after each stroke. And like the first control, when it's disabled, it is white, and when it's enabled, it's dark. Let's take a look at how these work. Now, to start with, when these are both on and I start to paint, each stroke is always loaded, and each stroke will always clean itself after each stroke is produced. Now, what happens, for example, if I turn off the ability to fill the color well each time the stroke is produced? Well, what happens is we don't get anything, but this turns this into a pure blending brush. So this is one technique that takes a brush that normally produces color, and by turning off the color well, you essentially are saying, I only want it to pick up color. And now it becomes a very nice blending brush. Also note that when these are on, the color preview shows me the fact that that is what's going to happen. It's going to apply the current color, which we have down in the color square, to the canvas. But as soon as I turn this off, now we see the transparency checkerboard. And that's telling me that, once again, it's only going to blend color. When I turn off the clean control, now what's going to happen is it's going to mix, but notice I'm going to stop on the yellow. I'm going to pick up and I'm going to come over somewhere else and see how the last color I touched became the first part of that stroke. Now, in this case, I ended right here on the light blue. When I go over here, that becomes the color that is picked up. So what this does is gives you a dirty brush technique. And that means that each time I paint, I'm getting colors from the existing color on the canvas as my brush color. And what you'll see happen is here, it'll slowly just kind of become a solid or grayish color because we're just constantly mixing these colors together. But this does give you a technique of a dirty brush. Now I can also, and notice that in the little color preview, it's showing me that little dirty area that's otherwise transparent. Let's try another combination. We'll turn this on. So now we're going to apply color with each stroke, but we're not going to clean the brush. So I'll have some red contributing to this stroke, but wherever I stop, that color, green that I ended up on, contaminates the beginning of the stroke until I start painting and the current color is added to it. So each of these methods of adjusting how the color is contributed and whether or not it's contributing at all can be controlled by both of these automatic load and cleaning buttons. You also have the option to do this manually. If we go over to the current brush load preview and I click on this, you'll see that I can now manually load the brush. So if I manually load the brush, rather than doing it automatically, I now have a loaded brush. The next time I use it, it's going to start to be a contaminated, dirty brush once again. So it takes coming up to here to load the brush with color. There it is, it's on there. But each time I start to use it subsequently, it's going to become a dirty brush once again. Now, if I come back up and select clean brush, this will make it a blending brush temporarily. But because it's not cleaning itself each time automatically, it will revert to becoming a dirty brush that picks up previous color and adds it to the beginning of the next stroke. Now, I'm going to show you in Chapter 8 how we can take these controls and apply keyboard shortcuts to them, as well as control them from the control surface of the Wacom tablet. And you'll see that that probably gives you the best way to control when and how these work.